I've said it many times, I know I would change my ways, I know for sure. When all the crows decide to meet, they settle down beneath my feet. I've got it right and I got it wrong, but I learned my lesson hanging on. Come sit here with me by the fire and let it go for a little while.
Hi, my name is Gordon, and this is my wife Aimara, and we are Ways of the World.
4 years ago, we started saving money for a crazy trip around the world, and finally, 3 months ago, we were able to leave, and the first country we visited was Turkey.
So 90 days later, we are in Istanbul getting ready to leave. Before this, we visited 10 other spots in Turkey. So we started in the southwest corner on the Mediterranean coast, went all the way east close to the Syrian and Iraqi border, then traveled north to the Black Sea in the Rize province, and then headed all the way back west to where we finally are in Istanbul.
Yeah, we have had such a great time, but the main reason why we wanted to make this video is because we learned so much and there are so many useful things that can help you maximize your trip to Turkey. So the first thing we're going to cover is how to move around in Turkey as a tourist.
The first thing to understand is that Turkey is huge. So as an American, I have to compare things to Texas, and Turkey is 1.2 times bigger than Texas. From east to west, it's about 1,000 miles, and from north to south, it's about 500 miles, so
yeah,
pretty big.
It's huge. There are basically 4 ways that you can move around Turkey, and those ways are by bus, by train, by airplanes or flights, and private transportation. But we are only going to cover bus and flights in this video because we didn't take a train or booked a private transportation. We took 12 different buses and 1 plane while we were here, and we learned that the bus system in Turkey works pretty well.
There's a way to book the tickets online. It's called obilet.com, and you can translate it to English, and it's pretty easy to book your tickets online. But we also learned that you didn't really have to do that. It's convenient because you can do it with credit card, otherwise you have to pay with cash. But we figured out you can just show up to the counter and there's usually a way to get to the destination.
Yeah, there are so many companies and they're very well organized, so you can really just show anywhere and buy your ticket the same day that you're leaving. And they're also pretty affordable. So out of those 12 buses that we took, the most expensive one was $22 and the cheapest one was $4.50. And this is per person. On average, I would say it was $10 each. So it is pretty affordable. Just keep in mind that even though the bus system works great and they are very comfortable, it's going to take a while to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, the distances, I think our longest bus ride was 16 or 17 hours on an overnight bus.
It was an overnight bus. We made videos about each one of our bus rides if you're interested in seeing how it looks like, what they offer. We're going to put them in the description so you can check them out if you are interested in more detail.
We took 1 flight while traveling throughout Turkey, and honestly it's pretty convenient and also affordable. So all throughout Turkey there's usually a domestic airport that's pretty close to where you need to go. But because we're slow traveling and we have the time and it's better for the environment, we just prefer to take the bus.
The airlines that you are most likely going to fly with are going to be Turkish Airways and Pegasus. And I think for a flight it was $45, and it was just a little bit more expensive than it would have been by bus. So just know that it's affordable. When you get to your destination, moving in each city, it's also super easy. You can move by foot, you can just walk everywhere depending on the size of the city. But just know that Turkey is super safe. We're gonna cover that later in the video. All the cities that we visited, they have great public transportation, the small bus called dolmuş, buses, some of them have train system, right?
Mm-hmm.
And well, obviously taxis.
Let's talk money. So we're going to get into the budget, but before talking about the budget, we have to talk about Turkey's currency, which is the lira. So when we started traveling in September, being here in Turkey was probably 30% more expensive than it is now. That's because Turkey's currency has devalued a ton against the dollar, and there's also been quite a bit of inflation, so it might balance out a little bit, but overall the situation is not great for Turks, but it has gotten cheaper for us.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're coming from the US, it's quite cheap right now. In terms of how much we spent, we stayed here for 87 nights and our average hotel or Airbnb price was $45. all of these like comfortable Airbnbs with kitchen, with working space. You can get them for a lot cheaper too if you stay at a studio, if you don't need a kitchen, if you don't need a table. In terms of food, we spent almost $500 on grocery stores and about $1,300 eating out, and this includes alcohol and eating in restaurants. So just so you have a little bit of perspective, if you eat at a doner shop, you can eat for like $1.50. If you go to a restaurant, how much did we spend for dinners? Like $11 total?
Yeah, it's like $11.15 for the
Yeah,
two
if
of
you're
us.
at a restaurant, so it is way cheaper than the US.
In terms of local transportation, we already touched on that a little bit, but again, it is very affordable here in Turkey, especially in the cities further east and smaller towns. Taxis are between like $2 and $5 to get anywhere around the city. And then the local dolmuş, it's worthwhile to figure out how to use it, but that's even cheaper than the taxi and it works very well.
Yeah,
so.
it's like 50 cents or less. In terms of activities, also we're sharing what we did, but this also depends on everyone's like style, I guess, and what you like to do. The prices vary a lot. So if you do like bucket list activities like paragliding, that was like $125 per person. Hot air balloon, we were lucky that we were able to afford it because when we did it, it was what, 75 euros per person. It's usually 400 if it's the high season, so we wouldn't have been able to do it. What other things?
Like
Scuba diving was like 48, which is cheaper than the US. And then when it comes to museums and entrances to like activities and places, it varies a lot. So if you go to Pamukkale, it's like $13 to $14 per person. If you go to a national park like Saklı Kent, it was 50 cents. So the difference is
there's some
about.
places in Istanbul that are like $20 to get in, so it really just depends.
We also rented cars a few times, and it was $40?
$30 to $40.
$30 to
so
$40.
That's actually kind of similar to the US. And that's for an automatic car. If you can drive manual, I can't drive manual, you can get a cheaper rate.
Yes, like 30-40% cheaper than that. Yeah, so keep that in mind. As you can see, compared to other popular destinations of the world, Turkey is actually pretty affordable. And now that it's time that we've been like paying our credit cards, I must like say that our trip has been even cheaper thanks to the travel hacker expert here.
Yeah, so for the 4 years leading up to this trip, we together have been building up a lot of credit card points and credit card miles to help us cover a lot of the costs for our travels, and they've definitely been very helpful for our 3 months here in Turkey to cover the expenses for some hotels and traveling. So
I would say a lot of our expenses, like half of our expenses, and I finally convinced him to share this knowledge. So we are going to publish a course on how you can do this. It's not live yet, but I'm going to leave a link in the description so you can sign up, so we can let you know when it's live, so you can also try to pursue this lifestyle, because it's awesome to save money while you travel in things.
Yeah, or just travel cheaper. It doesn't have to be for this lifestyle, but to save a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. So you can travel more. So the link is going to be in the description. Now let's cover visas and entry requirements. We travel with, I'm Venezuelan, so I travel with a Venezuelan passport, and he travels with a Dutch passport, and we don't need a visa to get here, but they give us permission to stay for 90 days. But as an American, you do need a visa.
Yeah, so there's 2 ways to get it. You can apply online or get a visa on arrival. I think the online application takes like less than 24 hours and costs between $40 and $50. So it's probably the way you want to go before you get here, so you don't have to wait in line.
Yeah, we're gonna put a link here so you can check it out. And there's also another thing that you have to complete that we kept calling an escort, but it's not called an escort, it's called a HES code. So is this, you were the one who filled it out, right?
Yeah, so before entering Turkey, you have to like make an application online to just say where you're going to be in the country and have all your, I guess, passport information in one place. And that's what you also need to get around the country.
Yeah, it's important that you either print that or save a screenshot on your phone, because you are going to need that everywhere to buy bus tickets, even to enter like shopping malls. So make sure to save that and keep it with you at all times, because you are going to need it a lot. And because it is 2022 when you watch this video, and right now it's 2021, we do have to cover COVID and COVID restrictions to enter Turkey. And for us, because we were vaccinated, we didn't need to show a COVID test, although we believe that it's better if you do both. But we recommend that you check We're going to put a website here so you can check what the local guidelines are, because these things change very often.
Yeah, but in general, it seems like the people in Turkey are pretty, I guess, conscious of like mask wearing and those types of things. Like the vaccination rates are also pretty high, especially in the urban areas. So we felt pretty good about our safety with regards to COVID.
Everyone was wearing masks, like in most bus rides at the airports. They wear, like, you to enter the grocery store and like shopping malls and all that stuff, you do have to wear it. So
and even outdoors, like a large percentage of people wear it.
Yes, that's true. And now to answer what a lot of people ask us on Instagram whenever they see us traveling, especially east, is Turkey safe? And our answer is 100% yes. Turkey is so safe.
Yeah, so for the last 90 days, we have honestly never felt safer anywhere else in the world, which is incredible. And before coming here, like my mom was worried about us coming here. I didn't tell Aimara's parents that we were coming to Turkey because I didn't want them to be worried. And even I was a little bit unsure, but it's been, I don't know, such like a revelation. Like we have had no reason to worry about anything.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy to, once you're here, you can't process why it has such a bad reputation internationally, because people here are so respectful of your stuff. We are targets. We're always walking around with our cameras. We go out at night. We're always filming. You know, like we travel with, like, you know, our computers. We leave all that stuff in our Airbnbs and hotels, and we have never been worried about anything. In the buses too, that you leave your suitcases and all the stuff in the bus. Like, no one's gonna take your stuff. Istanbul is the only city where people have warned us about pickpockets, and that to be aware, but just like in any other European city.
This has a warning.
Yeah, exactly. But nothing has happened. So if you're hesitant on coming or about coming to Turkey because of its safety, don't. Turkey is extremely safe.
And even further east, so like when we were going close to the Syrian and Iraqi border, that made people even more worried because of the situation in those countries. But no, like the further east we went, even the safer it got.
Yes.
So. Now we're going to talk about our Turkey itinerary and our favorite stops throughout our slow travels throughout this beautiful country. Usually we wouldn't like to, I guess, rank the different stops that we had because travel is super subjective and what's great for one person isn't great for another. Some people like beaches, some people like culture. But anyway, we're going to take the bait and let you know which were our favorite stops.
Yeah, so so many people ask, and we sat together and put a list together because even our own personal lists are different. But this is the definite list of the 11 cities that we stayed at, and this is the list. Number 1, Cappadocia. Number 2, Rize and Amasra, which are 2 different cities, but this is just our way of putting them up there because we really love the Black Sea region in Turkey. Then we have Kaş, Istanbul, Konya, Fethiye, Gaziantep, Mardin, Pamukkale, and Şanlıurfa. Just keep in mind, like, there's no place that we didn't like, honestly. We had so much fun everywhere, and we made videos about each city, pretty much every activity we did, day trips, foods that we tried, everything. So go to like the main page of our channel and look for Turkey travel series, and you're gonna find like 30 something or even 40 videos about our adventures through Turkey, and then just check the one that you're interested in because there's a lot of useful travel tips. Now we're going to talk about highlights because we definitely have recommendations for you. Just keep in mind that this is based only on the cities that we visited, and this also includes day trips that we did from the cities that we stayed at. We're going to start with beach towns.
So beaches are very important to us. We're both tropical people. Aimara's from Venezuela. I'm originally from Florida, so we both love the beach. And our favorite beaches are
in no particular order either, and just keep in mind too that we stayed in cash and we visited all of these places while staying in cash. So we totally recommend cash.
If you're a foodie visiting Turkey, this is what we learned. In some of the more touristy places, the menus can be pretty similar. We see a lot of chicken shish and doner and very skofte.
Yeah.
A lot of the menus look pretty similar.
Yeah, but there are three cities that definitely are top on our list for food. And those cities are, number 1 is Gaziantep.
Easy.
Yes, hands down, even better than Istanbul. I'm sorry if you're from Istanbul, but Gaziantep is mind-blowing. Like, it's the best food ever. The other city is Istanbul because, I mean, it's Istanbul. It's the biggest city in all of Turkey, and you have everything for every taste here, and the food has been delicious.
Food here is great.
And a place that surprised us with the food that we were not expecting was Konya. We had really good food in Konya, right? And it was like the first city where we had some variety too.
Yeah. That was like the first place we got off the tourist trail a little bit, and it was the first place we had some serious variety.
And
it was awesome.
The food was delicious, and we're gonna get into food later in the video, like specific dishes. But if you're a foodie, keep in mind those 3 cities: Gaziantep, Istanbul, and Konya.
Don't forget Gaziantep.
Don't forget Gaziantep. For bucket list things, there are a lot of bucket list things here in Turkey. We definitely did a few of them. And our favorites?
I think for me it has to start with paragliding in Uludeniz. Although we didn't love the town, paragliding was absolutely incredible. Every time I think about it, my heart still races and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe we survived paragliding.
Well, my flight was relaxed. We made a video too. Like paragliding,
so much fun.
Yeah, it was incredible. That place is famous in the world for a reason. It was extremely beautiful. Other thing we did, hot air balloon in Cappadocia.
I think that's number 1 on your list.
Yeah, it makes me want to cry, like every time I think about it. You have to add that to your bucket list. Again, we're not trying to plug all of our videos, but we did make a video of the experience because I think that's one thing that the internet does zero justice. You can watch the best video on a hot air balloon in Cappadocia and it's nothing. Like, you have to add this to your bucket list and do it. And what else? Are we putting the list?
Visiting the Sumala Monastery outside of Rize. So first of all, the nature around Rize is, to me, the most beautiful in all of Turkey that we've seen. Yeah. The mountain ranges, and it's just absolutely incredible.
They call it the Switzerland of Turkey, that area. And
it's just like a beautiful monastery carved into the mountainside. Absolutely unique and definitely worth visiting.
And another bucket list thing for me was coming to Istanbul. And it's been everything that I expected and more. We have been here for what, like 10 days now? And we have 4 more days here, and we cannot get enough of the city.
Yeah, it exceeds expectations. It was at the end of our trip, so we were kind of, I don't know, running out of steam in terms of seeing mosques and some of those things, but then we came here and it just blew our mind. And it's really cool too. Yeah, like, the people here are very trendy.
Yeah, definitely recommend. We're not cool, but we recommend coming to Istanbul for sure. Those are like top 4. Like, we don't, I mean, obviously we could get more in depth here, but we want to keep things short. For history and culture, we recommend Konya, Cappadocia, and of course, Istanbul.
Yeah, so in Konya, that's home of the whirling dervishes and a special branch of Sufi Islam. And we went to the whirling dervish ceremony. Absolutely incredible, one-of-a-kind experience. So definitely recommend visiting Konya for that reason. Cappadocia, we found out that it's actually way more than just the hot air balloons and pretty pictures. It has a very interesting history from, I don't know, ancient human history. Yeah,
for Christianity, you can learn a lot about it, which we like to through hikes, which is a really fun way to learn. And the scenery and the landscape there is beautiful, and there's so much to soak in. And Istanbul.
I mean, Istanbul was the capital of 2 of the most important empires in the history of the world. It's kind of a center point between the Middle East and Europe. So there's just so much interesting things that happen here.
Yeah, so many, and worth like doing a walking tour, which is what we did, a historic walking tour, and they explain everything, and you can really understand like why the city looks the way it looks, not only because it was the capital of 2 of the biggest empires in the world, but because it's always been super wealthy because of its location. So you really understand why Istanbul feels the way it feels once you learn its history. And of course, recommendations for off the beaten path. It wouldn't be waste of the world if we didn't recommend that, because that's what we do when we slow travel. And those cities are in the, we organize them by location. So in the Black Sea region, it's Rize, Uzungol, and Amasra. And on the east side of Turkey is Gaziantep and Mardin.
Yeah, so I think in general there's not a lot of information about these places, so many people don't visit them, but that's exactly why we're so lucky to be slow traveling.
Yeah.
We have the time to explore a little bit further and I guess let people know what they should be visiting.
Spreading out from Istanbul, Cappadocia, and Pamukkale is the responsible thing to do as a traveler, and we promise you that because these places don't see a lot of international tourists, locals show so much interest in talking to you, and this is where we make friends and people that we are still connected with. And this is the best of our travels, right? Like all the things that we remember that we tell people about are these experiences that we had in all these off the beaten path places. Let's talk about food.
Finally.
Food in Turkey is interesting because it varies a lot depending on where you go. At the beginning of our trip, we found that a lot of the menus were similar. Like they pretty much look identical, right?
Yeah, that's true. And I'd say the breakfast is pretty identical. No matter where you go, you have a lot of cucumbers, tomatoes, olives, and then different types of white cheeses. So that has been pretty
Jams,
consistent.
honey, hard-boiled eggs. Ekmek,
It's a good breakfast.
all the bread in the
bread.
world for every meal. Turkey has incredible bread.
And a lot of bread.
And a lot.
We've never eaten so much bread.
Oh my goodness, it's so good. There are other foods that we saw everywhere, like simit, goşleme, donors and kebabs. What else? Oh, pide and lahmacun are pretty big.
But to talk about kebabs, that does change a lot when you go to Gaziantep. That's like a whole different universe of kebabs. So even that starts to change when you go to different places.
We could stay here for a long time talking about food, but we did make 2 different videos trying different Turkish foods, and you can check those out in the description. Just because we don't want this video to be any longer than it already is, so make sure to check those out.
I will say this though, at some point in time during our travels, like we got kind of, I don't want to say sick, but I was like, okay, now we're cooking at home and it feels pretty good to be in our own kitchen. But then we always miss Turkish food. And like when we get back out there, it's like, oh my God. And you have like the mezes, like the cold starters. And
that's true.
We go too long without it. And we
exactly. We had our B&Bs, and then after 3 days, we were like, okay,
it's time to go back out.
I need a chicken donut. So don't worry, you're not going to go hungry when you come to Turkey, and make sure to try everything. It's a lot more than kebabs, so do your research depending on the area that you're visiting and try it all. We even ate, what is it called? Kokoreç?
Lamb intestine sandwich.
So don't be afraid to try new things. Some tips about eating out in Turkey: you will never be rushed. For to leave a restaurant, you actually have to ask for the check whenever you want to leave. If you don't ask for it, they assume you're just gonna stay there hanging out and talking about chai.
And service is usually not included except for some places that we've seen here in Istanbul, which I think add like 10% or so. But usually it's customary to add 5 to 10% for like restaurants. But if it's just like a donor shop, then you can round up a few lira if you pay with cash, but you don't really necessarily have to.
It seemed like it wasn't expected in a lot of the places, but we still did it. So.
And credit card is usually accepted in most places unless it's like a donor shop.
Yeah, if it's like in a lot of the smaller towns too that you visit, just make sure to have enough cash because sometimes they don't take credit cards. I can't believe we almost forgot to mention chai. We had so much chai. We had all the
chai. And chai is Turkish tea, and it is a staple of the mealtime here in Turkey. So if you go out to dinner, then it'll always be followed by tea. It's complimentary. If you're paying for it, then you're probably at the wrong restaurants.
Yeah, we learned that. Yeah,
we have had so much chai.
Yeah, they have it after every breakfast, after lunch, in the afternoon, and after dinner,
and also whenever.
and whenever, and it is amazing. I'm not gonna say that it's like super rich in flavor, except if you go to Rize, but take part into this very important cultural Turkish activity.
And it actually like replaces alcohol, I think, in a lot of parts of Turkey, because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of, I guess, cities and provinces like don't sell alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
So people go out and they drink chai and they just have, I guess, a normal night out, but instead of a beer, they have
chai. So try it. It's almost time for us to wrap up this video, but we didn't want to leave out a little bit of culture and language, because it is really important that you learn some of that before you visit any country. And in Turkey, what we learned is that Turkey is not even 100 years old. Like, the Republic of Turkey was founded in 1923 by Mr. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. He was nicknamed Atatürk, which means father of the Turks, and he is everywhere. It's impossible, right? Like, not to notice.
He's a national hero and icon in most of Turkey. What you see is like face and flags and posters nearly everywhere. He's idolized.
Yeah, and it's a great like conversation starter with locals. So if you can learn a little bit about him and just a little bit of the history of Turkey, that can open a lot of doors for very interesting conversations with locals.
Yeah, I think it's just good to know. It's a very diverse culture because it's kind of like a middle point between Europe and Asia, and has had many different kind of influences over the years. Culturally, they have a very kind of like rich and diverse mix. So no one's like really like Turkish. Everyone has some kind of other, I don't know, cultural influences that make up who they are in their culture.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people in the West, the perception of Turkey is that it's a very religious, kind of like Muslim country, but in fact it is a secular country, but the majority religion is Muslim.
Yeah. So as everyone seems like super open-minded, and it really changes from east to west. So in the east, like, you see a lot of the traditional clothes, and in the west, like, if in cash, it was like being in Greece. Like, no one cares like about any of it. You keep in mind that as a woman, like, if you go east, like, you do have to be respectful, and it's not like you have to cover your head everywhere you go. But if you're going inside a mosque, you do have to cover your head, and as a guy, you cannot enter a mosque in shorts. That's pretty much the only major thing that we observed. Yeah,
and even for guys, like in the eastern part, you don't have to wear pants, but like nobody is wearing shorts. So I think that's more like cultural than religious in nature, but just in terms of their customs.
Yeah. Let's talk about language. Turkish language was very difficult to us, but we learned a few words, and we wanted to share them with you so you can learn them in advance, because they will take you places here in Turkey, right?
It's like your Turkish starter pack. So we have merhaba.
Hello.
We have günaydın.
Good morning.
Teşekkürler.
Thank you.
Lütfen.
Please.
2,
2,
1,
1.
Evet.
Yes. I was going to say si. Si or yes.
And those are important ones. Iki and bir are good for like ordering, you know. So for us, it was always like iki chai.
Yeah. So iki means 2, bir means 1. Bir means one. And then the funny ones that we find important based on our eating habits is tavuk.
Tavuk, which means chicken.
And shut up. Which I'm not saying shut up. I'm saying shut up, which is wine. And then the hand signals. There's 2 that go a long way, right here. One is this one, which means good, and this one, which means, I think, like, thank you very much, but it's like a deep thank you. And just know that a lot of people in Turkey, they don't speak English. I mean, it depends on where you go to. If you go somewhere touristy, you can perfectly communicate with everyone. But if you go a little bit off the beaten path, it's kind of funny, because they don't speak English, you don't speak Turkish, but everyone is so incredibly nice, and you will always find a way to communicate. We had sit-down, like, coffee dates using Google Translate. So don't be afraid, right, to use...
Yeah. Even like the servers at restaurants, they really appreciate when you try to use a few words of Turkish, even though they probably know like 1, 2, and chicken. They know the words in English, but like they think it's great if you
you would always get a smile out of their faces, and like a good one, not like they're laughing at you. So people here are so nice. So just learn a few words, try, and then just adventure out there. It doesn't matter if you don't speak this language. And to be completely fair, there are some things about Turkey that we didn't like because this country is not perfect. And one of them is driving in cities or at night.
Yeah, so thankfully, like most of the times we rented cars, I guess was in smaller towns, but sometimes we did have to go into a city, so in Rize and even Fethiye, and it blows my mind. Literally, I cannot handle the stress of the traffic. There's like a flow to it that I don't understand, and I just get in the way and get honked at. So.
Yeah. Another thing was crossing the streets. We're not great at that, but we have a tip. Just cross with the local, and that includes kids because they are much better at you at crossing the street, and even dogs and cats. So just stay glued to one or the other and you'll be just fine.
They know the flow.
Yeah.
So just roll with it.
And last but not least, they smoke a lot here.
So that contributes to the littering. There's like cigarette butts everywhere also on the beaches, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And
that makes us...
like the bus rides take like 3 hours longer because every 20 minutes there's a cigarette break.
Yeah, we didn't like that, but not because we mind too much about like the cigarettes, because I mean you go anywhere in Europe and you have that, it's just that they're gonna die. I don't want Turkish people to die. Stop smoking if you're Turkish. Well, that is it for today's video. I know this was long, but we made it with so much love, like put together all these tips to help you maximize your trip to Turkey. And just know that the #1 reason that you should visit Turkey is because of its people.
Yeah, after 90 days in Turkey, the reason that Aimara and I are just totally depressed about leaving is because of the people. Like the welcome that we received in almost like every single stop along the way has been above and beyond. Like the people here are amazing.
Yes, they make everyone else look bad.
Yeah,
like
their hospitality and friendliness, it's just really incredible. And we've been lucky to have friends that we're still in touch with. I am WhatsApp friends with a cab driver from Gaziantep who I update about our travels and just how I'm doing in life. So
he offered us his home for next time we go to Gaziantep. Like that is the level of hospitality that you get from the Turkish people. We were invited for coffee, for dinners at people's homes. Like we had the best experience here, and it was because of the Turkish people.
So if you come to Turkey, say yes to any invitations for chai or dinner or whatever, just to have a chat. Their intentions are always very honest. So thank you, people of Turkey.
Teşekkürler, Turkish people, for welcoming us here. We can't wait to come back. We know we will be back many times because, I mean, there's so much to see here. And I know it sounds spoiled, but like in 90 days, we feel like we barely scratched the surface. There's so much to see here.
We're very lucky that this was our first stop. So
thank you again so much. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments. We love it here. We want you to love it too. And we cannot say it enough that we encourage you to please come to Turkey.
And we'll be answering from a different part in the world.
Yes, we are somewhere else now when you watch this video. We don't know where, otherwise we would let you know now. We think it might be Mexico. We don't know. Check our Instagram or latest videos, or just ask in the comments and we'll reply. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.